welcome back to Heiner Builds Your Ride. Today we've got another Troopy for you guys. This is the first for us because it's the first one we've built together with the guys from Odyssey Custom Fit Outs. Very nice interior in the back, definitely one of the highlights. But before I show you too much detail, let's roll the intro. Let's start under the bonnet. I'll show you some stuff in the front here. We've got the upgraded starting battery here. We use the Century Overlander start batteries, which we find are really good because they've got stronger internals. So when you do corrugation driving, these will not collapse as easily internally. And then we have got our twin MIDI fuse holder here with our custom brackets that we've made now. So you can mount the twin MIDI fuse holders on the battery hold downs. This is feeding the DC hub in the back of the vehicle. And then we've also upgraded the alternator to a brushless 250 amp alternator. We put the fuse for that right here. And then we upgrade the cable to a 0 BNS cable that goes directly to battery positive, and a bit hard to see, but the alternator, as you know, sits down there. Cool thing about the brushless alternators is 95% of the faults with alternators when off-road driving happening from the brushes actually getting stuck because of mud and debris that's floating in the water crossings that you do. So as soon as the brushes get stuck, the alternator stops charging. So brushless alternator hasn't got that problem anymore. It's the same type of technology that Caterpillar uses for most of their construction machinery to make sure that the alternators actually live a long, happy and healthy life. We've wired up the spotties for this customer. They haven't been bought through us, but we've installed them as part of the package. We've got the relay for it here, And we like to utilize these accessory fuse boxes. So the fuse for the spotties is in this factory Toyota fuse box. Let's come around to this side. There's some really cool stuff on here. We've put the work lights on there. This customer went for the Lightforce Rock 20 work lights. There's one on the left-hand side, one on the right-hand side, and also one on the rear. This has also got a really cool feature to it because we also put a remote control to these lights so that when our customer's up in the tent sleeping, he hears something around the car, he can from up there turn light on all around the car, which is quite cool. These are brand new. These are not the old Trax tables that you know. These are not from Quick Pitch anymore. You can see these are different to what they were before. A lot more user-friendly. These are actually from Mission 4x4 from Sean. He is making these Trax tables. They're his design, and I think they're a really good upgrade from the ones that Quick Pitch made before. Then if you go further around, this is from the Cruiser company. This was on here before, that was on here before. We didn't fit that, but I do like this product. You can put a barbecue in here. It's a great idea, I reckon. And the whole rear bar is from the Cruiser company as well. And then in here, we've got the whole interior made by Odyssey Custom Fit Outs, which I think has a very, very nice finish to it. Cool little things like, for example, there's a table in here that you can pull out. You can pull this out. Another really handy thing, in my opinion. Then you've got a little charge station here. We put some charge points in here. USBs and accessory socket, USB and accessory socket, so you can have things connected right here. There's another work light in the back there. National Lunar light, so you can have this area lit up. There's a little prep table here that you can fold down. Quite nice inlays. I'm not sure what company makes these. They were in the vehicle already. Could be PVP, Precision Vehicle Products. Never heard of them before, but I do like this table on here. We've got a fridge in there, a Snowmaster that was supplied by the customer as well. And then we've got another charge station up here. We've got another charge station in here. So here you got the same thing, accessory socket, twin USB, accessory socket, twin USB. Then we've got two 40-volt outlets, and you've got the switch for the inverter. So if you need 240-volt power, you can just turn the inverter on with this switch here, and then it will power this quad outlet and you can charge things. You could even, because this has got a 1200 watt inverter in it, you can run a little sandwich press in here if you want to. If the weather is pretty crappy and you just want to fix up a quick meal, you can actually use this. You can use it for a milk frother. Induction cooking wouldn't work, but you can do a fair bit with a 1200 watt inverter already. You've also got your battery monitor here, so you can see what's happening. You can see this is the start battery. This is your, it says main battery here, because this is a house monitoring system, house battery monitoring system. So for it, the main battery is the lithium battery, which is installed in the cabinet here. And the auxiliary battery is actually the start battery of the vehicle. You can see the current draw. At the moment, it's drawing about 900 milliamps because the inverter is on. Turn that off, it drops right down again. You can see the wattage going in and out of the battery. You can also see how many amp hours have been taken out of the battery. You can see the percentage of the battery, and you can see an average of the time to go before your battery is empty. At the moment, we can still keep going for another 240 hours, which is quite good. And then you're back to the voltage of the battery. If you turn around, you'll find that we've also put some fans in here. They are the Sirocco fans, and there's one on either side, so just in case it gets a bit warm in here, you actually can turn the fans on, which will help a lot when it's hot in the tent and you just need that little bit of airflow. To show you a little bit more of Toby's handiwork, Toby is the guy from Odyssey Custom Fit Outs. You see all these nice things here. There's a table right there. Under the table, you've got some storage space, some magnets to hold this in. Bit more storage space right here. And then down here, it should be a bit of a challenge to show you guys. Right in there, there's the water heater and the water pump for the water system that we've got installed in here. It's not that easy to show you. I do really like the finish on the interior fit out. You see little things like this has been routed out so that it just sits on each other, and to make sure it doesn't rattle, there's little see-through rubber bumps in there. So you hear when I close this, nice and perfect fit. Well done, Toby. I'm very impressed with this. Also, this area down here can turn into a bed. All you need to do is pull this out and you've got a bed. Or you just put it back. And it's also at the same time a lid, so you can still get to everything underneath. Your jack is still in the bottom there, and all the other bits and pieces are still accessible, just as the manufacturer intended to. Now to show you the cool stuff that we've done. This is the shower area. The plumbing has partially been supplied by Odyssey / the customer. We've got a National Lunar Light here as well. This is something that I haven't seen before. So you can actually connect your water right here. You plug that in, and by moving this, you can actually adjust the temperature. It's not a bad way of doing it, but you will have to readjust as soon as the water heater actually slowly empties out and the temperature drops. You will have to manually readjust the water temperature. You can turn the water pressure on and off in the dash. We've installed the PVS panel as we usually do. As soon as the water pumps turn on, the water level gauge turns on. I'll show you what that looks like when it's on. That is that part done. We've got some extra switches installed here for lights. They are in the bar on the back, rear lights. Then we've got driving lights for the driving lights that are installed. We've got our USB ports on the side of the dash on the left-hand side and the right-hand side. And behind the seat here, this is where we've got our Egon DC hub. So this is the heart of the installation where everything comes together. The DC-DC charger is mounted here as well. The reason we put it here is it is exposed to the cooled air of the cab when it's running. So it's almost like it's got active cooling because the aircon is gonna blow cold air against here, which will cool this whole area actively down. And then all our electric installation has been nicely put inside here. As you can see, we've got the 1200 watt inverter, a 200 amp hour lithium battery. There's a 240 volt charger, so in case the customer wants to hook up to 240 volt power, he can just run an extension cable in here, close the lid again, and the 240 volt charger turns on, charges the battery. We've also got the shunt back there and the primary power distribution with the twin A&L fuse holder all the way on the back wall there. And then in here, this little bit is the remote control. That's the receiver, and we have got this here. Also really nice, by the way, the armrest makes such a big difference. So what we can do is we've got left hand, right hand, rear work lights on here. And if you have a look, we've also got left hand, rear and right hand work lights here. So if I turn the left hand light on, we made it in a way that you can get your control light to turn on as well. So if you're driving along, you will actually know if your lights are on. That can be quite handy. They are switched in parallel, so you can't turn them off from here. You have to turn everything back off. We didn't want to make it too complicated. Then you've got the water pump switch right here. And you've got your water heater switch here. You've got your two-way radio connection right there. We fitted the GME XRS 370 as per usual. ARB air compressor right here. And then there's other things going on that were already installed. Stereo was in here before. The PDP scan gauge was in here before. On that side, you've also got the USB chargers on the side of the dash. And I think the customer, because he's got two remote controls, most likely he'll leave one on the key and put one up in the tent so he can always control the lights from up there, which is quite a handy thing. I really like that. This light's been part of the roof conversion already. What else have I got to show you? Customer's also got a 300 watt KT solar blanket in case he's stationary for a longer period of time. And let me show you where he can plug that in. The customer has supplied us with one of these vent replacement panels. And we have put the solar input right here. So if he wants to connect his panel, he can just plug it right in there and then run it out. Park in the shade, but still put the panel in the sun so you can get some solar charging in. One of these is also the filler point for the tank that is mounted under the floor. And another one is a water outlet. And then also your ARB compressor outlet right here. We've fitted the aerial for the two-way on the roof with a bracket. They are quite sturdy. It's also folding in a little bit towards the vehicle so that when you actually do drive through narrow sections, the aerial, instead of sticking straight up, goes in a little bit to avoid bushes as much as possible. If you can't fully avoid them, there's a bracket on there as well, so you can just fold the aerial down and keep it like that when you are around town to make sure you don't take it off accidentally in the drive-through. And that's it. This is not the biggest build that we've ever done, but it's certainly one of the nicest. I really like the interior. It is a simple yet complicated enough system electric-wise and a versatile build. I think the customer will have a lot of fun with this. I think only leaves one thing to do for us. Our patch of approval, this one, is now ready to drive anywhere. Thanks for watching and see you for the next one.